Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Diane and my passion is painting and creating nature-inspired watercolours in my studio, which are easy for you to do too. I share all my paintings with you on YouTube, and on our website dianeantone.com you can find free downloadable sketches for all the videos to help you make the most of your painting journey. And if you'd like a little bit more, we also have channel memberships with loads of perks for you to enjoy. So welcome on board. Click subscribe and turn on notifications, and let's learn to paint watercolour. Hi everyone, Diane here. Welcome to my studio. Today we're going to paint a page of pansies. That's a kind of Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers kind of tongue twister, isn't it? Today we're going to paint a page of pansies. Yesterday we painted a page of poppies, sloppy poppies. And today we're going to paint a page of pansies, and I'm going to show you my method, which I was taught of how to draw a pansy. And the reason I want to do this is because in the garden at the moment, we've got these pretty little violas, actually. They're smaller than pansies, but they're obviously from the same family. They call them viola here, and I think we call them violas in England. I'm not quite sure, but anyway, they look like pansies. They have that typical pansy little face. They're just smaller. So I presume that the pansies, the great big fat ones that we have been evolved from these. Anyway, they make a good subject because if you pull them apart, you can see very easily the shapes of the leaves. And we're going to look at that and draw that today. And you can see that when the leaves are tiny, before they become big like this one, they don't have any indentations around the outside. They're just smooth edged. So that makes a very interesting little painting or drawing, in fact. I mean, you could do just the drawing and do it with lots of shading in line work if you wanted to. But I thought I know I've done this before and I've shown you how to draw and paint pansies, but I'm going to do it again today in case anyone hasn't seen how to do this the easy way. This was taught to me by an artist from New Zealand called Hugh Brading, who some of you may have heard of, especially those of you who are in the Antipodes. Hugh lived in New Zealand and taught for years and years after he gave up his job in industry. And he came to England one time and stayed with me and taught a class for my art group when I lived near Canterbury. And that was great fun, and I learned a lot from him, painted some amazing paintings that he took us through step by step. You know how good art teachers do that, really showing you step by step how to do things. And one of the things he showed us step by step how to do, amongst others, was how to paint a pansy the easy way. So looking at the pansy, you can see it's got, 5 petals, 2 at the back, 3 in the front, and they have a particular arrangement. And if you don't break that down into a kind of formula, whoops, I'm putting water on my paper. They're very it's complicated. It seems complicated, but it isn't. So the way Hugh taught me to do this was to, first of all, do 2 little bracket thingies like that. And then to draw an upside down heart underneath from the bottom edge of each half of the bracket. And that's the bottom petal. And you can vary the shape of that. Then coming from here, we did another petal like that. And if you do the line a little bit wiggly, a little bit wavy, you don't try too hard to keep it smooth, it actually looks a little bit more realistic. And then coming out from the back here, we're going to have one big petal coming that way, and then another one which sits behind. Some people think that there are only 4 petals, but there are actually 2 behind. And then in the center, you have all sorts of different arrangements. But one quick way of indicating what goes on in the middle of the pansy is just to do some shading like that. And this part in the middle here usually is light in color, and you can put yellow in there. And then if you want, you can put a few shadowy lines coming up the back there to give it shape. And then you just take stem out from the side here like that. And then you can look at the leaves, which are like this. And the easy way to do it is to just do one little one, one bigger one, and another little one. And then on the other side, you can do the same thing, like this. And then to make an arrangement, what I would do on the paper here, like I showed you at the beginning, is, you know, the deconstructed idea of not making a composition, but just to do a pattern. So this is the fully grown leaf, which has a scalloped outer edge, and you can draw it quite simply like that. Don't worry about the exact shape. When you put the line down the middle for the vein, it looks much more realistic. And then you can put some baby leaves at the bottom. And Robert is your father's brother, or otherwise known as Bob's your uncle, and you have a little cluster of pansy leaves. Now I've got one here also, which is sort of sideways on, which is quite convenient. So for this one, we can just be a bit more random, and we're just going to put the sideways leaves, petals in like that, and then the sepal, I never know how to pronounce that word, and then the stem coming down like this. And then we can just be kind of choosy as to what kind of leaves we think are going to be the most artistic or the easiest, depending on your aspirations. And talking about aspirations, I had the vacuum cleaner out today, and I was aspiring to clean the house. I thought I'd better do something before I came to the studio and enjoyed myself. So there we are. That's a sideways on pansy. Then in here we can put another one. And then after I've done this one, I'm going to start painting, because I don't want to waste your time making you watch me do the same thing over and over again. I've been trying to learn a new style of knitting just recently, and some people waste an awful lot of time telling you absolutely nothing. And so you end up scooting forward through the video, and I'm sure people do that to mine as well. If they've seen it before, or they know it already, or like the average 10-year-old child that we used to teach, when you say to them, okay, now we're going to do, let's say, we're going to study gravity, and this is to a 10-year-old, and the 10-year-old would say back to you, this is my experience of teaching in England, oh, miss, we done gravity last year. And you're like, yes, I know, but this is called the spiral curriculum. Those of you who are teachers will probably sympathise with me and remember what it was like trying to teach children in England. Oh, God, it gives me cold flushes just to think about it. Cold flushes, hot flushes, any kind of flushes. Okay, here we go. One more. Heart shape at the bottom. Petals on the side, and they can vary. You don't want them to all be the same shape or the same size, because if you look at these little plants, you'll see that they're all different. And, I didn't do here, what I was going to do was I was going to do those lines, because some of them just have a sort of line coming down there, like that. But most of them are something like this. A pansy painting or drawing done by you makes an absolutely lovely greetings card, invitation card, or anything for your mum or your granny, or that's for the younger generation. So, and for the older ones of us, for your friends, and even your daughters, I imagine. So there we are. I can go on like that for ages and ages. So I've shown you how to draw a pansy, the leaves, the baby leaves, like this, a sideways on one, and you can just carry on until you're bored. So this is my one from this morning, and now I'm going to have a go at painting that. So today I'm going to use my A Gallo set. This is A Gallo handmade in Italy paints. I don't have any affiliation with them. They were kind enough to send me a free set so that I could use them and demonstrate them to you. They have a limited edition range which comes out once a month. If you go to their website at agallo.com or something like that, I'll put the description in the link below, you'll see what they have. They're not cheap, they are relatively expensive, but they're a lovely luxury to have. And for anyone who wants a nice set of paints for their birthday or Christmas or whatever, or wants to give something to somebody that they'll really find different and reliable. They're not handmade by amateurs, they're handmade by professionals who know what they're doing. So you can depend on them, and they're vegan and they're all natural and everything. So I'm going to use those, and I'm going to paint them with these flowers with these colours, which is quinacridone red gold, which is here down the bottom. I'll just move them over here out of the way because I'm going to knock them over. And then I'm going to use quinacridone gold. So that's quin red gold, that's quin gold. Then I'm going to use Hokkaido orange, which is similar to cadmium orange, I think, only probably without the cadmium. Azo yellow gold, which is like cadmium yellow, but ditto, probably without the cadmium. And olive green deep, which is this one here. And this is what they look like when they're swatched out. It's always useful to do that kind of thing when you're going to do a painting like this, so that you know what colours you're going to use, and to keep it simple. And you know what I'm like, I'm a bit slap happy. Slap dash, slap happy, slap it on, hope for the best, and all the rest of it. So we'll do that. I think. I do have days like today when I sort of wake up and I think, I should take more care over things, really. I shouldn't be so slapdash, but there we are. So I'm looking at these little flowers here. The light today is not good. I'm hoping Tamsin's going to be able to brighten things up a bit, but don't know what's going on. The sun's out, but it's not coming in through the studio, probably because it's so early. And I've got to do this today because tomorrow, when I would normally be doing it, Graham is coming to shear the sheep. Consequently, I won't be able to do painting in the morning because he's going to be here shearing sheep. So I'm just going to paint. I'm going to do this in a very simple way, just painting in, whoops, wrong colour. Just painting into the shapes that I've already drawn. And there will be a sketch of this if you want it to download. And because it's nice to have a variety of greens, I think the way to do this is to come in with the olive green and then to add a bit of this azo yellow and let it blend, lift a bit out if it's a bit too much. And for these ones, I will do it the other way around. So come in, first of all, with the yellow and then add some green and just let it blend. And this one, I think I'll just paint them green, because what you want is variety. And when you're painting something little like this, it's nice to lift out some of the colour sometimes. So I'm going to put some bright yellow in the middle here. And then when that's drier, I'll do some brown on top of my sketchy brown thing. And then some of these flowers are actually brown. It's quite an unusual colour. That's why I bought them, because they were so, what's the word? Brown. It's quite strange. So I think I'm going to do the back petals here. And you can darken the brownish shade with a little bit of green, which just makes it a little bit more shadowed, because one behind would be. And then I need to put in the yellow first. So I'm painting in the yellow, and then when that's a bit drier, I'll put in the brown around the outside. And it tends to go in sort of two swirly scoops like that. Okay, while I've got yellow on my brush, I'll put some into these leaves here, and then I'll go on top with the green and try to leave areas that aren't painted. You know, it doesn't want to be too pernickety. It never looks good if the pernickety bug gets involved. And when you've finished, when you have finished, you can always do some more line work. If you want, you can come in again and do some alterations or some modifications or whatever. I don't paint very often with these paints because I tend to do things bigger in general, but I just thought, oh, I'll do something small today. So let's pick up some of this brown again and let's paint the outside edges of these little violas. This paper is, I didn't mention, but I will now I've remembered, is Canson XL mixed media paper. And it's very good for lifting off. Very good for lifting off. So this one's going to be orange again, and probably a bit paler. And then I'm going to take a chance and put some brown here on top of my ink in the hope that it might run, which it probably will. And that's what we want. And then I'm going to dab a little bit of green on, and then I've got a tissue in my hand. I'm not wiping it on my shirt. And I take off surplus paint. When you're doing something as small as this, you need to have something handy, like a tissue here, this piece of kitchen roll, to lift the paint off quickly, because almost inevitably everything will be too heavily painted because it's so small. But lifting off is a technique. You know, it's not a mistake to lift off, especially if you're Elon Musk. Lifting off is what it's all about. Did you see that rocket go up? I always wanted to go and live on Mars. I've mentioned this before, and he's not my hero, but if he was a different person, he probably would be. But I watched his rocket go up, and everyone was saying it was a great success because it exploded in a great, huge ball of flame. I'm sure I understand that, she said, ironically. I'm going to do this one in orange. I don't follow these things, so I see little snippets on the YouTube, and I don't understand what's going on. I thought the idea was to get into orbit, so I don't know why they were so pleased when it exploded. Whatever. I'm sure somebody out there will explain to me. Is there any men out there who follow these things? We would love to pop a comment in the comments section. Thank you for all your wonderful remarks about the dolly bird thing that I was talking about the other day, and the hot pants and everything. That's quite hilarious reading what people were saying. I found one lady said that she had a hot pants suit, navy French blue with yellow rickrack, and so I couldn't resist it. I looked online to see if I could find said item in the vintage sections, and I came across one that was very similar, answered to the description perfectly, and it was black with orange rickrack, I think it was, or was hers orange? No, it was black with orange, and it had little puff sleeves. It was really cute, honestly. The things we used to wear. I had a knitted dress. I remember that. My mother bought it for me. It wasn't her best choice. I was only about 14, I think, and it was knitted yellow, a sweater dress, I think they called them. I think I must have worn it once. It was embarrassing, really. It showed off every part of the figure that one didn't want to show off, all the lumps and bumps. It's funny how these things stick in your mind, isn't it? Anyway, enough of that. So we're carrying on here with these little flowers and trying to vary the greens as much as possible. If you find that this is too small for you and you don't want to work so little, just make them bigger. Like I said, if you want to download the sketch, I will put a sketch of these up. And there are already some of Pansies available on the website, so you can just go to dianeantone.com and download whatever you want for free. You can leave us a tip in the tip jar if you feel that way inclined, but it's not compulsory. The whole point is that people can have them for nothing. I don't mind. Yeah, so... Okay, so I think we're probably getting to the point of no return, the final answer or question. And we'll let that dry and see what happens when we come back. Okay, so I've dried that off with the hair dryer, and I'm just going to put in the brown around the centre here of these ones, this one, these petals. And this one too. And this one, now it's dry, you can be a bit more ambitious with your colour. And you want some contrast, don't you, between the brown and the lighter colours. And then I don't know if it's going to be possible, being I'm working on a very small scale, to get yellow that's going to show up in the centre. I rather think not, but we will do that in any case. And then if you want to modify the colour of your leaves, you can sort of mix up some green in a slightly different shade, and then you can come in and add to what you have as underneath, which is quite a good way of going about it. So that's the olive green, and then we're going to add some of the azo yellow. So we've got a mixed colour now. And then on top of the background that you've already done, and everywhere where you put this new colour is going to be different from everywhere else, because what's underneath varies, and because these are transparent paints, the underneath colour will show through, and it just makes the whole thing much more lively to do this. It's a bit like embellishing, only in a more painterly sort of way. So I think that will do. And I think I might just, and they really are quite brown, and I think that needs, I'm just thinking I might want to, if I wanted to match that exactly, I might want to put a bit of, let me see, which colour is it? This one? Yeah. In here. So that's the star of the whole thing in his nice brown suit, and this one could put a little bit of that there, because that's the same colour but just a bit lighter. So there we are. I think that'll do. Quick one there. Hope you enjoyed that. A page of pansies. I will let you go. Have fun. Don't forget to go to the website if you want to download the sketch. Don't forget to join Patreon if you feel like it, or even the YouTube membership if you feel like that. Lots of benefits. Go to Patreon and have a look and see what you get. And you can also become a member of the YouTube channel page, which is especially for members. I'm not going to bore you with all of that. I'm going to go. I've got things to do. And I will see you soon. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Right.